isn't only expressed through a stroke of a brush or carving wood or molding clay. It can also be a piece that can be worn. This is called wearable art.
The Yushchenko Museum's ArtWearAble exhibit gives us a fresh take on modern art, with the human body as its canvas.
ArtWearAble is the first of a series of exhibits we're having here at the Yushchenko Museum, where we feature jewelry and body adornment from some of the country's leading artists, designers, and creative thinkers who have taken jewelry and body art to not just a craft, but they've taken it to a different level, where their works really show original creativity and design.
Artists included in the exhibit are designers Anne Pamintuan and Hans Bruman, young artists Leroy New and Michelin Sihuko, sculptors Impi Pilapil, Eduardo Castrillo and Ramon Orlina, and national artist for visual arts Arturo Luz.
Apparently, in the 90s, he designed this line of jewelry. So he created the designs, and then he collaborated with the Swiss-born jewelry designer Hans Bruman to turn his inspiration into a reality.
Okay, what I see and notice is that there seems to be an ethnic or a tribal flavor.
And it's reminiscent of Peruvian or Ecuadorian jewelry.
Okay.
It's an interesting touch.
And it's very minimalist.
Yes, and
you know, it's obviously playing with gold and
very reflective. If you look at his paintings and his sculptures, they have a minimalist bent, and his jewelry also reflects that. Another pioneer, sculptor Eduardo Castrillo, who's been sculpting since the 60s. Early on in his career, he started out as a jeweler for La Estrella del Norte until the 60s and 70s. So we have some pieces of his work which he designed as early as the 1970s. And if you take a look at it, we have a photo of one of his models wearing a silver bra. And this is in the 70s, long
before Victoria's Secret and all of those jewels, underwear,
or even Madonna and the YSL cone bra.
So he's way ahead of his time.
Or Eduardo Castillo was already designing jewelry like this.
And with him, it's really, you know, it's just making use, getting a design out of the actual material. Hardly any embellishments, actually.
He designed all the pieces. It's as if it's one complete collection. You have cups, you have watch straps, chain belts.
There's even like cufflinks.
And
are those
earrings?
Oh, okay, those are earrings.
Rings, even a bag holder. And this was in
The
70s. You can believe
even before we had those table bag holders.
Before we had those bag holders, which now you can just easily find in any shop. But here you have, and it's Eduardo Castillo bag. These are
beautiful.
Earlier works, Over here we have Impi Pilapil. She's very natural. Using waves, ripples, turtles. She works with glass and stone. But for this jewelry collection of hers, which she also did in the 90s, she conceptualized the design, and then she collaborated with Hans Bruman to create the jewelry collection. So next to Impi, we have,
there you go.
Here's Swiss-born Hans Bruman. He's from Switzerland, but he migrated to the Philippines in the 60s. And his first job while in Manila was as a jewelry designer.
Well, this one is definitely more, you know, playful with stones, I think, because of the semi-precious stones.
And a lot of mother of pearl. And it's nice that you get to see the works of the craftsman. Somebody who's used to executing the designs for other artists, but here you can get to see his own work.
Creativity really is like.
These are works by a glass sculptor, Ramon Orlina.
He got inspired to finally do a jewelry glass.
To do jewelry. That's one of his more recent projects. So he designed these pendants and necklaces, which, well, they're not made out of glass because they would be too brittle and heavy. In this case, they're made of crystal.
So they're very, very
Ramon Orlina. Actually, at one glance, you've seen some of his glass sculptures, you know this is him.
Orlina. And what's also interesting is that he has a name for each piece. You know what? Will he sell this? You know, I'm really wondering already. Will he sell these?
Pieces, if I'm not mistaken, donate these pieces to art auctions. But I'm not sure if he's been selling it
because these are beautiful.
So over here we have Davao-based designer Anne Pamintuan. She's known as a furniture designer. These cocoon chair and the email forms are her work. And since 2008, she's been showcasing her jewelry line, which is made of real flowers, leaves, and roots.
Dipped in gold?
Yeah, dipped in gold or plated in gold. So you have this gold cup over here, which is fashioned from a real mango leaf, from a real leaf. And you also have brooches and necklaces.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and rings, all made from real roots and plants. It's a different form of alchemy, as we like to call it.
I think that's very, very inspiring because a lot of people would think, I'm not an artist. But the fact that you may see something transformed into something else, it's like play, creative play, then anybody can come up with, you know, amazing works if they just give it a try.
The more edgy pieces from the younger artists, such as Leroy New,
who you told me earlier dresses up Lady Gaga.
He's done some pieces for some of her music videos, and it's really definitely shocking, and definitely not what you'd expect when you think of the word jewelry. Like this shawl over here, he created especially for ArtWearAble. If you look closely, the resin eyes, as Leroy calls them, are actually hand painted. Every single resin eye that you see there is painted by hand.
I'm not gonna say that's also very, very,
This is another piece by Leroy New, which he calls his drip dress. As you can see, it resembles dripping things made of silicone. Okay. So you have the top of the dress, and then around the neck there's a necklace. What's fascinating about Leroy is that he's only in his late 20s.
So you can imagine so much potential.
So much potential as an artist.
But this last stop, you know what, I'm going to have to say, very, very familiar to me. I recognize two of the statues or the sculptures on display. This has to be made by one of the Sijuco sisters.
Yes, it's made by Micheline Sijuco. She's primarily known as a sculptor, but like Anne Pamintuan, since 2008, she's been venturing into jewelry. And her jewelry first is very raw, very avant-garde, and she creates each piece by hand.
Edgy. I mean, look at that. She likes spikes. And these are actually bullet shells. Yeah, bullet shells.
Yeah.
But these are her jewelry.
Yes, her jewelry, which is showcased in boutiques around Manila.
Even from afar, it's just crafted, you know?
The handiwork that goes into it.
Apart from the fusion of fashion and art, the exhibit also features other well-known works of these artists that showcase the versatility of their creative minds and hands.
Well, thank you very, very much for showing me around. And again, this is running until September 7th. So come over, be inspired. Who knows, you might want to take one home, but don't forget to ask the artist first. Thank you very much, Carla.
Thanks so much, Issa.